Apologize for missing the previous net. My wife took me to, it was called $1 Million Quartet. It was a little performance by a group in Issaquah, and I think they're going to be moving their production to Everett shortly. It highlighted the performance of Elvis, so Gary would be interested in that if he's around, and Johnny Cash, and Jerry Lee Lewis, and Carl Perkins, and it was really good, but it prevented me from being here. So anyway, that's what happened last time. I'll go back to you for now. Jim, WU7N, this is N7QO.
All right. Well, thank you, Jim. This is James, WU7N. Let's go to the next person on the list, which I have listed as Lee, N7KC, coming in via Echo Link on audio, and third party via Ron. Go ahead, Lee.
Okay. This is N7KC Lee in Port Angeles, and thanks, James. And hi to Jim, and I've been chatting with Ron. And Ron said he thought he saw Gary kick on, so Gary, if you're there, good evening to you too. I agree with Jim, I agree with James. Very easy to recognize you tonight. Oh, by the way, the streaming came up, and it has been just a little bit late coming up. But I'm noticing myself on the stream right now. But it's not smooth video yet. So the thing is struggling a little bit. Okay. Let's see. With that, I don't have much else. Only thing happened here today. Well, the Warbirds came to Port Angeles, the Fairchild International Airport today. So we've got 3 bombers, I think, and a couple of fighters sitting over here. They started giving rides and lessons, if you want them, at 2 p.m. They've been flying around the area. They'll be here tomorrow and Friday. And then Saturday is Airport Appreciation Days here, and they're setting up a bunch of stuff up at the airport. So it'll be a lot of fun. And this is also Field Day weekend. So all you field dayers, which I am, I'm going to participate from home, I think, this year. Anyway, that's it from here. N7KC, back to James.
Oh, well, thank you, Lee. Sounds interesting. Let's go to Ron. Ron, are you there?
Yes, thank you. This is KD7QKU. Well, good night. Good evening to James and Jim and Lee, of course, and I think Gary's lurking out there in the wings someplace. Well, let's see. Jim, we saw the $1 Million Quartet. We have season tickets to the Issaquah Theater. We have had for quite a few years. Although we saw it a couple of weeks ago. And I thought it was very good. This is the second time I've seen it. And I think this was the best performance. So let's see. We've had rain here. I don't know if you had rain over there, James, but it started raining here. I'm going to guess around 6:30. And it's I've had 0.12 of an inch of rain. I don't know if it's raining out now, but it could be. And it's 55 degrees. I was sitting out on the patio watching the Mariners game on TV. We have a covered patio and a TV set up here. And it was cold, and so when I came in to eat, I actually went in and turned the electric heater on. We have that electric heater that looks like a little stove that's set over in what used to be the fireplace. So I turned it on to kind of warm up the house on it. It was kind of cold. What else is going on? Well, that's about all. Jim, yeah, your picture seems to be getting a little bit progressively better. I don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is, keep doing it. So back to net, KD7QKU.
Okay, Ron, thank you very much. He's Gary out there. Okay, Gary, I'm not seeing audio or video here, so I guess I'll go next. Good evening to Jim, Lee, Ron, and Gary. If you're listening, can't transmit for some reason tonight. Thank you. I'll toss up a video signal here. Here's an ID. And here's something I thought I would show tonight, completely different. I was doing just a little bit of research on the history of video, and I thought you guys might like to see this. This is just the best here. This is a Russian television set, and what they did, since they apparently had some manufacturing difficulties, and probably had some economic constraints in that, I guess this came out about a decade after World War II, they put these sets out with large plastic hollow magnifying glasses that you filled with distilled water or glycerol so the screen would appear larger. I don't know what the angle of view was, but then the interior of the set looked like this. So they produced these for quite a while, and here's another picture of one, which I guess I can blow this up a little bit here. But I think that's a very creative approach. And here's another shot of one that also has a magnifying glass. So anyway, I thought people might be interested in seeing that. Aspect ratio is a little off on my computer screen versus what you're seeing on the NTSC output. And there's also, so for example, this is a completely... So as I was saying, this is a completely round magnifying glass, and as I see, as it translates from my computer screen to an NTSC image, there's a little bit of distortion there, and it kind of looks oval-shaped. And I guess there is a little bit of distortion there in that picture, too. And I guess that one, too, is a little squished. So I'll have to work on that, see if I can correct that. So anyway, some people might be interested in seeing that. This is James, WW7ATS. And let's go back to the top here and see if Jim N7QO still has a great picture for us here. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jim. N7QO. Well, that's interesting. Well, I thought I saw Gary's picture come up too, just for a second or two, just before you began transmitting, Jim. But I certainly did not hear anything from Gary. So maybe he's out there trying, or maybe it's my imagination. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that television set's pretty cool. If I'm not mistaken, the United States did something like that many, many years ago. I don't know how long it lasted like that, but that television set looks about like the first oscilloscope I ever had. But I never had the smarts at that time to make the effort to place a magnifying glass in front of it. Interesting thought. Pretty cool, anyway. Someone was saying about rain and nastiness out there. Well, here at my house, right now it's dry, but it certainly looks like it's going to begin raining at any time. I'm showing 61 degrees outside here in Covington, but I have to say this, it is very windy out there. Yeah, you'd definitely mess up your hair today. Back to you, Jim, and 7QO.
Okay, Jim. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was, I don't know if it's still raining now, but the back of my deck is wet now. So let's go next on the list. By the way, is it easier, Ron, for you to go first and then go Lee, or Lee and then Ron? Does that make any difference?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, well, I just saw Lee pop up first, so let's let M7KC take it away here.
Okay. Just punched up the timer. Then in 7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. I wish we had some rain coming in here. Let's see. Yes, pretty good picture, Jim. Very easy to recognize you and that sort of thing. And I noticed on the stream a couple of times, it looked like Gary's probably in there. Interesting with the Russian TV. Oh gosh, that's the first time I've ever heard that they actually use magnifying glasses in front of the small CRTs. Very interesting. One of these days I'll have to bring my flying spot scanner. I ran across one of those test instruments that you drop a 5x5 slide into, and you get scanned with what's called a flying spot scanner. It's a little white dot on an oscilloscope that gets scanned, and then a photocell then that captures the transmitted light to a transparency, and that gets turned into a video signal that's synced up with the scanning. And it was a test gadget where you could kind of have a TV station in your service shop, and I've got one of those. It's in pretty good shape. I'm trying to think who made it. They were well known at the time, and I can't think who it was that made it. But I've got it anyway. I was telling Ron before we came on the net that Paula wanted to go to Docy Wallops today down at Brennan on the Hood Canal. So we headed that way at 9 this morning, and the closer we got to the canal, the worse the weather got. And we finally opted to do a loop around a lake up on the ridge there above Quilcene. And had lunch in Quilcene and then came back to Port Angeles. I had to use my swipes on the car a couple of times over there today, but on slow speed, so there weren't very many drops. So in Port Angeles, it's completely dry. Well, my timer just ran out of time, so I'm going to quit. This is N7KC, and I think it goes to Ron next. Go ahead, Ron.
Yes, that's what's on my list. Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, well, thank you very much, James. W7N in the group, 87QKU. Well, I'm looking out my window. Everybody's talking about wind. We didn't have any, but I do see the limbs on the trees moving just a little bit across the street. So, and I think the rain stopped at 12. It rained really hard for about 10 minutes. I wish it would rain all night. I'd like to see us get an inch or rain. Well, let's see. Excitement this week. Monday morning I was going to go get my hair cut. Lady doesn't come in the barbershop till 10 o'clock. So then my friend Al, who moved down from Camino Islands, now is over in Highlands, and he called and said, hey, we got everything squared away pretty good over here. I'm fed up and thinking about moving and stuff. Let's go fishing. I said, sounds good to me, but I said, I was going to go get my hair cut. He said, no problem. Go after you get your hair cut. I said, okay, I'll see you at 11. So he was here when I got home. I looked at the boat before I left. We put our stuff in and went up to Alice Lake, which we go up towards the Fall City and turned right up Alice Lake Road. So we went up there. It was a really nice day up there. It was funny because when I was getting my hair cut, Monday, you know, is the day off for most barbers, but this lady comes in on Monday. She was and her brother. It was a father, son, and daughter. barbershop, but the father's old now, and he's been retired for quite a few years. So now the son's Larry, and the daughter's Lorraine, and so anyway, so I was informed that Larry was taking his dad, it was his birthday, he was about 84, 85, he was taking fishing. They thought he was going to a different lake. I was surprised he wasn't going to Alice Lake, because I know Larry goes there quite a bit. So anyway, we had the boat in and we were fishing. Lo and behold, this pickup pulls in with his boat, and I told Al, man, I think that's Larry. And so then there were three guys. There was an old guy and a couple of younger guys. They came down and went fishing. I'd never seen Larry's boat, so I didn't really know. Kind of recognized the pickup because I'd see it at the barbershop. Then we went over by him and I hollered, hey, is that you, Larry? And he goes, yeah, hi, Ron. And so they were up there. They were fishing. We were trolling flies, and I caught, my limit of fish. But my friend Al said, I think those guys are catching more fish than we are. I said, okay, well, we'll go ask them what they're using. So I went over there, and Larry said, he said, we're using worms. But he didn't say how they were using the worms or what on. I assumed it was like you were using worms. What were you using them on? Oh, he said, we were just using the straight worm. He said, have you ever heard of a slow death hook? And I said, oh, I sure have. And he said, well, that's what we're doing. And so a slow death hook has a hook in it. So you thread a worm on it, so when it's in the water, it kind of goes like that. And he said, man, taking a night crawler, we were cutting them in half, put a half a night crawler on. It just kill them. So anyway, I guess I'm going to have to try it. All right, back to that.
Okay, Ron, thank you very much. Your signal was kind of fading there. We lost it for just 10, 15 seconds, and then it came back up again. Not sure why, and then it just kind of like the static overfade on you. Let's see, next in the group, I guess, is, let's try Gary one more time. Gary, are you there? Okay, not hearing Gary. So Gary, if you're listening, we're thinking about you there. To talk about the rain, here's what I'm seeing, courtesy your federal government on the radar. It looks like this rain kind of developed just all over Seattle and then just came over us, and it still continues to do that. I don't know with the westerly flow if there's some kind of moisture pickup over Puget Sound, but it does seem to definitely be just developing over Puget Sound and maybe just a little bit to the west of Puget Sound and then coming over Seattle. Interesting. Flow from west to east isn't that common. It's much more common to have it come from the south or the southwest. So anyway, let's see, going through the list here. Well, you guys have it on me because of that $1 Million Quartet. I recognize three of the singers, did not recognize the last singer, so maybe you can tell me who that was, or I can look for it later. Warbirds this weekend, of course it would be something really cool happening up at your airport because it's Field Day weekend. And what's going to make this field day especially interesting is the state is combining the 5th Saturday drill with this field day. So I don't think that's ever been tried before. It's going to be really interesting to see how it goes. So I'll be involved in much of that. And looks like I got a little slow camera tonight. Not sure quite why that took so long to come up. So anyway, let's see. I think that's about it for me. Let me go pause for a moment and ask if anybody else would like to join the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. If you would like to join, please come now.
N7LNS disconnected.
Here's an echoing disconnect from N7LS. I heard the disconnect. just a fragment of one word. Go ahead and try again now if you would like.
7H of YB.
Gary, good to hear from you. Let me drop my video signal. Let's see yours. Go ahead.
It's there. It's in there. I was on the wrong channel to start with. This damn thing. I thought I was on the receive and I was receiving it okay. But on this handy-talkie, if you're not on the channel that's programmed for it, it won't transmit. So consequently, I couldn't get anything out on the 8.6 stuff. So anyway, are you hearing me now?
I'm getting a good audio signal from you on a scale of 1 to 5. It's about a 3.
Everybody seems to be a little on the scratchy side tonight. Anyway, WW7ATS K7HYB. And let me get the wrong shot. Oops. That ain't going to work. There we go. Let me get the wide shot in here. Yeah, I've got 53 out here for the weather at 78% humidity. And it just barely broke 60 degrees today, or 65 degrees today. Around about 5 o'clock, it got to about 66, 67 degrees. Right now it's 53. Wind is light at 3 miles an hour with no participant. Oh well, okay, I won't go there. Some days it works, some days it doesn't. Let me get a mug shot here and see if that is a little better picture. Jim, you're looking good tonight. I can almost make out some features. There I am. Oh, well, you can almost tell who I am. But, yeah, Ron, I concur with you on the Village Theater. When the wife and I go see it here, and toward the end of the month, we will have second time fun.
This is James, WW7N. Kind of lost your audio there about 30 seconds ago. You want to try again?
I think it was, but it was probably 15 or 15 always seems to go on. 18-inch TV sets, they always go 15 or 17 or 19 or something like that. That seems so small, though. That's kind of strange.
K7HYB, WW7N at control. I've lost your audio. I saw your video come and go. Okay, this is WU7N in the group. Gary, your picture, by the way, your video picture was a good solid, I'd say, 2 or 3 tonight. You're very recognizable. I guess you saw that on the streaming. So let's go back to the top of the list. N7QO. Jim, take it away.
Okay, I still saw Gary there for just a second. He's gone now. Let's give it a second here.
guess not. Oh, there's someone else on my signal. Okay, well, thank you, Jim, and 7QO. My signal looks a little strange at the house now. Yeah, Gary, don't know if you caught all of that, but your audio was going in and out pretty badly. We could, I would not say we copied 3/4 of that at the end, but it was not particularly good. Anyway, we did see your picture, although it came and went a little bit. I certainly have not done anything at my end to my picture. I have noticed that my video up to the television repeater seems to be better than it used to be, but my the 1.2 that I'm receiving from the television repeater is not working as well as it used to. So, not exactly sure what to make of that. I was assuming that maybe things have changed a little due to possibly the change in season. And maybe there's something that malfunctioned in my 1.2 line, but I don't know. Well, let's see. Lee, Airport Appreciation Day, World War II vintage aircraft. That sounds interesting. Even giving rides, and did you say something about instruction? That sounds kind of unique. Truly unique, especially for vintage aircraft. Or are they going to do that in normal airplanes? Just curious if you happen to know about that. But yeah, people should probably coordinate their schedule. I know that a lot of us wouldn't make it there because of field day, but then again, I suppose amateur radio operators are a minority in the big population. Somehow it seems that there are frequently conflicts with schedule, almost no matter what I do anyway. Don't know what to make of that. But WW7N and 7QO.
N7QO, this is with the Uniform Federal Network at control with the group. I don't know, Jim, it seems like if it has to do with airplanes, plastic cars, ham radio, or cool boats, it's all the same population. I don't know, same demographic at least. So let's go on next to Lee, N7KC up in Port Angeles. Go ahead, Lee.
Okay. N7KC, Lee in PA. Well, timer's running here. Okay, information on the warbirds. Okay, Jim, they've got, you can take a ride in any one of them for $400. And they get a load together. There's a lot of people interested in these planes and a lot of people over at the airport. Anyway, $400 will net you a ride, and they go up and down the straight, I guess. I don't know how long a ride it is. $2,500 will get you in one of the bombers. $3,500 will get you 1 hour's instruction in one of the bombers. So, if you're a well-heeled enthusiast, you could have a lot of fun over there. So they're here today, tomorrow, and Friday. And after they leave, then Saturday is the Airport Appreciation Day. And the local RC club here, of which I'm a member, but which I will not be participating, will have drones, and they'll be flying and giving demonstrations of radio-controlled aircraft there at the airport. and there'll be a lot of general aviation planes on display, et cetera, food trucks, standard fare. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to do field day, but I'm real close to the airport. I'm only, 4 blocks south or north of it. So I'm going to try to go over and check out what's going on. And I thought I would go up and check out the field day site for W7FEL. That's the local radio club here in town. I'm going to do my own thing at home. I'm going to concentrate on CW on 40 meters and on 80 meters at night. Anyway, so that's the story. And I'm now out of time again. So N7KC, this is Lee in Port Angeles, and I'll give it back to James, but I know he's going to send it to Ron. Go ahead, James.
Ron, you are correct, Lee. Ron, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, well, thank you very much. A lot of wind blowing up there, my signal. Coming back, in and out. It was actually black and white for a second again. The color contrast, I think, was a little bit black and white with me when I started. So I don't know, maybe there's a bunch of wind up there. I'm not sure. Wind has picked up here some. The temperature seems dropping. I'm down to 54 degrees. And my picture is degraded again. Good. Well, let's see. What else did I do? Last night we went to the Mariners baseball game. Man, that's disgusting. I was listening to the guys on the sports announcers on 710 radio today, and they said that Chipotle, the manager of the Mariners, keeps talking about all the money that he's saving by getting rid of all the players that we had. And they said, but he's not talking about all the money that the Mariners are spending. So they almost paid the other teams to take these guys we had. And they said that, so what we have to pay out in order for them to go to these other teams is costing the Mariners $60 million a year. And that's going to be for the next 2 years. They said that's more than what the Seahawks pay for their players. You can imagine that. So he said, the guy on the radio was saying, I don't know how they're going to get any other players because his math just doesn't make sense. He got rid of all these guys, but we're still paying a lot of their contracts. That's kind of stupid. I know we got rid of Edward Concion, however he say his name, and we traded him to the Yankees, and he had hit the most home runs, 21 home runs in the American League, and so when we put him up to sale, the Yankees wanted him. So they gave us a pitching prospect. So out of their top 30 pitching prospects, they didn't give us number 1 or number 2. They gave us number 27. 27 out of 30. Just a mediocre guy. And then we're paying we're paying $8 million, I think, of his contract for them to take him. So that's the kind of deal that Seattle's going to be making. Just stupid. And we had a baseball team last year that almost went into the wild card race, and they were playing over 500 this year.
Okay, Ron, this is WU7N. I've been experiencing the same thing you are on the 1.2 gigahertz loopback, losing the color signal, and I've lost your video signal, and a little bit of fade, although not as bad as Gary's in the audio. Were you finished? Go ahead, Ron.
Finished. It must just be intermod or something today.
Okay, Gary, the last thing I heard was I'll get off my soapbox. which would be pretty darn boring. But that's the last thing you wanted to send to the group?
QKU, back to them.
Okay, well, I appreciate everyone's patience with our, I believe it must be conditions tonight. It must be a little windy up there on the hill. So let's see, next in the group would be Gary. Let's see if we can get a signal from you. Go ahead.
WW7ATS. Am I being heard?
Gary, I do copy you on audio, and I do see a reasonable video picture. Oh, just lost it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't quite understand what happened there. I'm still transmitting, but whatever. Anyway, I gave my diatribe on the weather the last go-around, and I was talking about British theater. My wife and I saw the original production in Everett when it was here in town, and when it was in Everett. She was a patron for a while with her ex-daughter-in-law, and we're planning on going to see it in Everett here when it goes up there and go up and see it again. So that's our plan for that. I think it's later this month. Anyway, I was talking about the TV set that you had from Russia. Kind of interesting because it kind of reminds me of the first TV that I had when I was a kid back in Spokane. Was one of the Hoffman Halo lights, believe it or not. That was the thing in those days. So I don't know. The streaming seems to be popping in and out, and it's not consistent for some reason or another. And am I still holding a repeater?
Your audio is holding the repeater.
Yeah, well, there's nothing on the streaming either. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I got a blank screen here. But let me put the call sign back up again and see if it comes up. Anyway, it must be conditions. Usually there's 5 enough to get into the repeater. I had a chat with Rich, KF7BJR, on the phone here about a week ago, and they made some improvements up there, and they plan on trying to get that non-profit situation organized. And I don't know what's going on now, but apparently for some reason or other, I'm not getting anything on the stream. Anyway, just as a matter of curiosity, that blind spot scanner was made as a piece of test equipment for the early TV repair guys. You probably realize that. Eastkit made one, and the other these early TV stuff, and so they had one too. Dunlap or something like that. No, it was DuPont. Anyway, and maybe Zencor too at one time. They may have made one. They were in the TV repair
signal coming and going.
Definitely. We're having a squall through this area, so that may be what's contributing to it. Okay, back to you, James. W7N, K7HYB.
Okay, Gary, thank you much for participating in the net tonight. Yes, you can probably hear on the feedback on the stream that your audio kind of is breaking up a little bit there. And let me see if I can stabilize our stream just by putting a static image up for a minute. Okay, well, it looks like there's about 2 or 3 second delay. And there's the latest from your federal government, and I notice I just lost my color signal on the loopback. So I say offhand, we do have a little bit of wind, or it looks like that cell is getting larger out to the east, and something's pushing it, so it wouldn't surprise me it's a little windy up there. We should get a weather station going up there at our repeater. It'd be interesting to see what it's doing. So anyway, one thing I was interested in, Lee, you mentioned that you had a piece of test equipment that used I believe you said it was like a 5x7 slide. Do you mean a photographic slide? And then this thing scans, and then you develop the film? Kind of curious about that. I remember there was research going on, gosh, it would probably be 78, 79 time frame at the University of Texas, where we had a Polaroid camera aimed at a oscilloscope that would give one shot as a shock propagated down a shock tube. And we would have to pull the Polaroid and then see if it worked or not, and it was quite a production to unbolt the shock tube and put a diaphragm in the shock tube and then bolt it all back together again, put all the sensors in position, pressurize the shock tube until the diaphragm ruptured, and then the shock tube would propagate, or the shock wave would propagate down the tube, and the oscilloscope was supposed to show when the various sensors reported, and it wasn't working. And I remember the 2 graduate students that were working on it were getting very frustrated with that. I'm not sure they ever did get that to work. It's amazing how far the technology's come. I think doing that today would be almost trivial. Well, I'm looking at a fine black and white picture for myself right now. So, well, anyway, this is WW7N with Uniform 7 November in the group. I see we're about 14 minutes to the end of the net, so let me take it back to the top to Jim N7QO.
Thank you, Jim, and 7QO. Yeah, I would say we're having some sort of weather event out there as well. My guess is that the audio from me is also fading a bit. Jim, I hear you, and Lee, I hear you just fine, but you're not exactly coming in through the 2-meter channel there, so maybe there's an antenna flexing or something, some sort of interference. But Ron and Gary, and I would bet my signal as well, my audio is probably also fading in and out a little bit, and sometimes maybe even disappearing altogether. So, oh well. But the pictures are good. But yes, Jim, I concur. I saw you in black and white only toward the end there. Oh well. Let's see here. Ron, Mariners. Yeah, I don't want to say too much. All I've got to say is for that amount of money, they should be doing very well. I don't know. That's about all I got to say about that. Television, flying spot scanners, all of that. We used to have a couple of club members who were around back in the day. Unfortunately, they're not around anymore. Dave might actually remember a little bit just from some other people with whom he used to work. Reset. I had a couple of books around here. I just looked over my bookshelf in the shack here, and I had a college textbook about television from the early 70s, and it is not here. And I also had an ARRL book, which was for amateur television, and I don't see it either. It seems to me that someone borrowed them, and I don't remember who, and I don't see anything here. Oh well. Otherwise, I could have maybe presented some intelligible information about that. Well, that's okay. Lee. You mentioned some price for a flight in a warbird, and I'm like, what? And then you mentioned if someone wanted a little bit of instruction in a bomber, and I'm like, my goodness, I'll bet there aren't going to be many takers on that. There may be a few takers on the ride in the warbird, but probably not a whole lot, especially, I would guess the population in Port Angeles isn't nearly as much as if people would be down here at, say, Boeing Field or something. But that's a cool idea. I like that idea. They should do stuff like that more frequently. Let's see. I guess that's about it for now. Back to you, Jim. WU7N and 7QO.
Well, thank you, Jim. Actually, your audio is booming through solid 4 on a scale of 1 to 5. And also, I could hear you booming through on our internet stream, as well as on Echolink, and hearing you pretty well on my handheld, too. So I'm trying to listen to sort of 3 things at once to compare audio, and it's all coming through great with you. So let's go to the next on the list, Lee.
Okay. There we go here. We at 7KC in Port Angeles. Yeah, I see we're getting down to the wire. Well, let's see. 2 things. Number 1, the flying spot scanner, Jim, was a test instrument. And see, that was about 4 by 4. And what you did was you dropped it in front of a cathode ray tube. And then it was sandwiched between a lens which focused the white spot on the cathode ray tube on a photocell. So what would happen is that they had a raster on the cathode ray tube, just a white dot that scanned just like a regular NTSC TV signal with a interlace scanning. And as that white dot went across, the light from it had to pass through the transparency to the photocell. So what it did was it generated an analog signal that was related to the position of the spot during the scan. And so those two things were combined to make the test signal that you could change the slides. You could drop the Indian head test pattern to something else. It didn't do it in color. It was all black and white. But anyway, I've got one of these scanners, and it's in nice shape. I've never fired it up. I thought sometime I might try to put it in operation, but I've not got there yet. And Jim, believe it or not, there are a lot of takers on rides. They started rides today at 2 o'clock, and periodically either one of the fighters would take off or one of the bombers. And I don't... It's $400 a head, but I assume several, but they've always had plenty of people. And the other thing that's really precious is if you watch, there's old-timers here. They go up to the field in their uniforms, World War II guys, and they just love those airplanes. So anyway, it's quite something to see. Yeah, okay, that's it. 7-3, guys. Enjoyable night as always. Look forward to the next one. Although the next one's during field day this Saturday night. I don't know whether I'll be able to pull myself away from the other radio gear or not. We'll see. Anyway, you guys have a good weekend, and if we don't see you Saturday, we'll see you next Wednesday. 7-3, N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Here, courtesy of Echolink, and the video is courtesy of Ron, and Eastgate 87 QKU. Back to that. Go ahead, Jay.
Lee, thank you very much. You brought up an excellent point. I don't think I will probably be on the net Saturday, so I don't know if someone else wants to fill in as net control. I just don't want to promise I'll be here at 8 o'clock. I'm in a support capacity with BTS, so not sure what I'm doing, but it's going to be a busy weekend. So next on the list, Ron, take it away.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, KD72KU here. Well, maybe we just should discontinue the net for Saturday night. That'd be fine with me. So anyway, I'm going to say the first TV picture I saw was from Spokane. I lived in Kennewick at the time, and it was a long haul from Spokane to Kennewick. And it was on a Hallicrafter TV, and I can't remember the year. It was the only one in the neighborhood. My cousin came home from the Air Force, and he bought this TV set, put up an antenna, and we could almost see a picture. It was just snow with a little bit of a Alfred Hitchcock image in it. And it didn't get better for a long, long time. Finally, then they put in a satellite station in Yakima or something, and we were able to get it from Yakima. So anyway, and then we had a few programs for nothing. Okay, the temperature dropped here now to 53 degrees, and the rain gauge went up to 1600s of an inch. So I think right now it's kind of soft. I think the wind died down a bit there in my picture. All right, so I guess it's whatever you want to do about Saturday, but I know it's fine with me if we didn't have a net. So KD72KU, 73 tonight. Bye-bye.
Okay, Ron. Well, I'm going to just plan to not be here. Anybody who wants to come on Saturday, 8 p.m. as usual, go ahead and check in. But I'm not quite sure who that will be. Gary, do you want to go ahead and try a 73 round here?
I don't know how I'm going to make it either way. There's my moniker on my call sign, and Lee, the B&K was the other company that made them. That's who I was trying to think of. I know Heathkit made them, and the B&K, and they were the early test pattern generators, is what they were intended for alignment of TV sets and stuff like that. Quite a deal when you consider I had a flying saw scanner a long time ago when I first got into ATV. That was one of the first things I bought and did some experimenting with it. And then I sure caught a far cry from the kind of cameras and stuff like that we've got now. Yeah, maybe we ought to consider installing an outside camera at the site. We have an inside camera. We just maybe should put an outside one up there too. I don't know. Anyway, but $400 for those lights. Probably a good chunk of that is liability insurance. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. My wife said she left the windows open on the car and it's drizzling out here a little bit, so. Back to you, James. Katie, WW7N, K7HYB, 73 home.
Okay, Gary, well, thank you very much. Here's a bit of trivia I'll toss out there. This image right here is the first image of the far side of the moon, and I think it was transmitted back using a flying spot scanner by Luna 3, and I think, I'm not sure, but I think, maybe not this image, but one of the first images transmitted by the Soviets, actually the United States film that was used in spy balloons was very, very good quality. They moved from the original nitric backing to some kind of a polyester backing in the film, and the Soviets were shooting down the spy balloons, and so as a propaganda thing, I think what they did was they took the film out of one of the spy balloons and put it in one of their lunar orbiters and somehow integrated that film into what was being used, but I'm not quite sure how they did that. But here is anyway a first image transmitted back to Earth using a flying spot scanner by Luna 3. So with that, let me say this is WU7N with the Uniform 7 November with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Does anybody have anything for the net before I close it down and return the repeater to normal use? Okay, well then, stand by. Okay, I think I need to try that again. I'm not sure I dropped on my microphone. Does anyone have anything for the Western Washington Amateur Television net before we close the net down? That being heard, a good net tonight. Certainly appreciate the owners and operators of the 147.080 repeater letting us use it for our audio channel, and all of the amateur radio operators out there who let us use this for an hour on Wednesdays at 8 p.m., Saturdays at 8 p.m., although next Saturday is field day, so I'm not sure if the net's going to happen or not, so it might be the following Wednesday. My name is James, WU7N. Let me say 73, and good night to all.
N7KC disconnected.